Hi, everybody. Excuse the pause. I had a message coming down on my screen and I had to read it. And you know I'm not a multitasker. So anyway, it's me. Welcome. Hope everybody's doing well. And we have a craft for you today that is so much fun and it's so versatile. There's so much that you can do with it. We are going to print on fabric. And then we're going to take that and applique it onto some little gift bags. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what we're doing, but you don't have to just do gift bags. You can put it on quilts, or you can do all sorts of things with it. And let me show you what I've done so far. And I've done it on this is a drawstring bag I made out of a t-shirt fabric. And there's Lauren, one of my grandgirls. And this is a boo bag, Mr. Zachary's treat bag for Halloween. And I haven't put the drawstrings in them yet. And then I have a Christmas one for Miss Chelsea. And I put it on some burlap. And I'll show you how to do that too. So this is so much fun. And I think it's especially fun for little kids. Now, even big kids. Who doesn't want to see their picture? You know? And so if the package has their picture on it, there's no doubt who it's for. And if they're not reading yet, they still know that's their package. And it's just fun. So I'm going to show you how we get the picture or printing or whatever you want to put on the fabric. And I use a product called Wonder Under by Pellin. And it comes on a bolt. I think you can get smaller packages of them. There's any number of products on the market. This is just the one that I've used forever, and I really like it. It has a rough side, that's the adhesive, and then the other side is a waxed paper. So you can iron right on it. So I have already cut some pieces, the proper sizes, and oh, something happened. We're still live, but something happened. Anyway, the Wonder Under calls for me to use a dry iron. So I've turned the steam off so it won't steam, it'll just work as a dry iron. And then what I did is I took some 8.5 by 11 paper to use as my example, because that's what size we're going to end up with, because that's what's going to go in the printer. And so here's one already done. It's already got the fabric on the Wonder Under. And so here's our Wonder Under. And it's got the rough side here and the waxed side there. And then here's my piece of fabric. And I always, let me turn this so you can see what we're doing. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah. I first press my cloth to get the wrinkles out of it. You want it as smooth as you can get it. So I press the cloth, and then I put the Wonder Under on top of it with the rough side down, because that's the adhesive side. And my Wonder Under is smaller than my fabric. You want your fabric to be bigger than the Wonder Under, because you don't want any of the Wonder Under edges to get on your ironing board and make a mess. So, and then my instructions say to put the iron on it and leave it there for 5 to 8 seconds. So we're going to do that. And 1 potato, 2 potato. That's how I do it. I'm just going to do that all the way down the fabric. And this is probably the most time-consuming part of the whole deal, is getting it on your fabric. And I'm not good at multitasking, talking and doing it at the same time, talking and counting. So there's these long pauses. That's really exciting. Okay, we're almost done. And then once that's done, I just go up and down a few times. I want to make sure my edges are adhered really well. See, they're not right here, so I'm going to hold my iron there. And then I just go back and forth over it a couple of times. And if I see something that looks loose, then I'd stop a second or two. And that is it. That is it. It is done. It's going to be kind of warm, so you want to let it cool a little bit. I wave it and get it cooler. And then we're going to trim it to 8.5 by 11, because that's what it needs to be to go in the printer. And so I get one of this side, this is the straighter side, on one of my grids on the board, and I'm cutting it with the paper with the Wonder underside up. And then I have, you can do this with scissors. Don't use your good scissors, because that's paper under there. Use some scissors that are good enough to cut through the fabric. It'll cut easier because it's got the Wonder Under attached to it. But I do mine on the cutting board using a rotary cutter, and I have one that I have marked that it's for paper. And so I'm cutting off this edge, and then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 is going to be right here. 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. Okay, my paper is going to be a little bit smaller than 8.5. So I'm just going to get it as big as it can. I did a little miscalculation there, but that's all right. I had another one that was a little too narrow, and it went through my printer fine. It wasn't that much difference. So I'm just evening this out, and then let's see, 11 will be to this mark. Okay, so I have my sheet cut 8.5 by 11, or as close to that as I can get it. And then you need to know how your printer works. With mine, my paper feeds in like so. So I know that my fabric side has to be on the bottom when I put it in my printer. And then I get my pictures on my computer all set up and then print them. So let's go do that. I'm putting my paper in the printer with the fabric side down. So I just put it there on top of the rest of my paper. And it's a little bit smaller, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go over to the computer. I've already got my grandkids set up on the computer. There you go. Can you see it? There we go. And so I'm going to tell it to print. And then it asks me, are you sure? Yep, I'm going to print it. And let's see if it'll print for us. Because, you know, there's always the Murphy's Law thing. And let's see. It's usually as slow as molasses, but it's printing. It's an older printer. It is Wi-Fi, but it's older. And I'm sure they have newer technology and it's much faster now, but this one works. I don't print that much. And yes, it's slow. It's slow. So while that's doing that, I'm going to show you some. I've already printed some. And so I'm going to show you how that works. Oh, where's my... Okay, here's my ironing board. Okay. Now, these... Oh, Tom has the next birthday. So I have his picture. And I'm going to put it on a blue bag. So I can put his gifts. Now, I want to do it before I put the bag together because I'm going to sew mine on. I'm going to applique mine on with the machine. So, first I'm going to press my fabric to get the wrinkles out of it. Then I'm going to peel off the back, the one to under, and that's kind of tricky sometimes getting it started. There we go. So I just peel that off, save that paper, then configure this the way you want it. I found for a drawstring bag that I don't want it way up here because when you pull the drawstring, it all mashes up. So I put it more towards the bottom, not too much at the bottom, but about, see, I have this much, and then I have this much up here. And then just kind of center it. You can use your hammer or ruler or what if you're, but, you know, I put my hand on either side, and if it looks even, that's good enough for me. Now, I'm going to press that on, and I use the same instructions is I leave the iron on it for 5 to 8 seconds. But before I do that, I'm going to put this on top of the picture because I don't want any of that ink to stick to my iron. And so now we're going to leave it on for 5 to 8 seconds. Leave the iron on. And then I'm going to move it and leave it for another 5 to 8 seconds. And then for good measure, I go both ways, horizontal and vertically, because I don't want it to come off. Now, if you don't sew, you could just stop right there. And there is your fabric with your picture on it. And then to make the bag, we're going to put right sides together. and sew it together. But before I sew it together, I'm going to stitch my picture on. Now, the next one, I'm going to show you how to do this burlap thing. This has got to be my favorite. And so it's my favorite, so, and I have my red shirt on, so I'm going to put me on this one. And so let me press my burlap a little bit so it's warm. And let me peel this off. Oh, I got it, and then it went back. There we go. I'm saving this. So I'm just putting this sort of kind of in the middle. Because we're going to trim it a little bit after the fact, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Putting my paper on the picture. When you adhere the picture, you're also setting the ink so it stays on the fabric. And so we do the whole 5 to 8 minutes again, seconds, not minutes. And press that thing on there. Press me on that burlap. And then we'll do it vertically and make sure that it is adhered very well. And so that is done. And now my picture is on the burlap. Now what I do next is I just kind of trim it so it's as even as I can get it. And I just do it visually. This burlap is meant to be kind of not perfect, because it isn't perfect itself. I'm going to keep trim until it's all gone. All right, so I've got it trimmed, and that's pretty even enough for me. And then I'm going to take a pin. Oh, get to a pin without burning myself on the iron. Okay, and then I'm going to pull some of these threads. The horizontal thread, you can pull it right up. And I want to pull about 4 of them. And then pull them off. And I'm going to do that all the way around. And let's see, one more. They're not going to be exactly even because of the way this stuff is woven together so loosely and unevenly. And that's what makes it so fun. I'm hoping you can see all of this. Okay, so there we go. I have it fringed. And then I will just put that on with all that. Now, don't think about burlap. It gets everywhere. So you just get you some tape and pat it all down there, and that'll pick it up. Like the back of the packing tape or Scotch tape. So there it is, and you can see the fringe. And then I'll just make a bag, and I'll put that on the bag. Here's what it looks like. Where's Chelsea's bag? There's Chelsea's bag, and she's got the fringy burlap. And then I will sew this on because I like mine to be sewn on so the edges don't come loose. And then I'll make smaller bags. Another thing about this is this picture was the same size as these. And so I cropped them, so you can use this as a time to crop your pictures too. And so I'll do some little bags for Bella and Rosie. Now, let's see what's next. Next, we're going to do Tom's bag, and we're going to sew my picture on the burlap. So we're going to go over, and I'm just going to use a straight stitch. You can use a zigzag or a decorative stitch, different colored threads. I do this at Christmas. I very rarely wrap presents in wrapping paper. I make these little gift bags and I applique things on them. And this year they're going to get some pictures on theirs. So let me set you up so you can see what's going on. Okay, there you go. You can see it. Okay, I've got me, and I'm just going to sew around the edges. And I'm just using a straight stitch and white thread so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just using the edge of my foot as my guide on the picture. And 2 stitches and reverse 2 stitches. And then go. Stop with the needle down and turn and go. Needle down, press your foot up, turn, press your foot down, go. Needle down, press your foot up, press your foot down, go. And then don't forget to back stitch to hold it in place. And trim. And so there it is. You can see the stitching, and it's stitched all the way around. And then I will stitch that onto a bag. Now for Tom's bag, I'm putting the right sides together. And I'm using that t-shirt. So remember, when we use a t-shirt, we're not using the sleeve this time, but I'm using the part of the t-shirt that had the hem on it, the bottom of the shirt. And I'm using that hem. That will be my casing for my drawstrings. So I'm just stick it under there, and I'm starting my stitching on the stitching of that hem because I want to leave the casing open. And let me move that over a little bit. And so I'm going to set my stitches and just go. All the way to the end and back stitch. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing, starting at that hem. And I'm going to start where the stitching is, or just below it, because I want to leave that, what's going to be my casing, I want to leave that open. Excuse my hand when I have to do that. That's probably pretty annoying. I need to learn to do it with my left hand, don't I? Okay, here we go. And Now I'll turn it and I'll do the bottom. And there we go. I can do it with my left hand. That's way less irritating. Okay, so back to the work table. And we are done, except putting the drawstrings in it. And I'm not going to make you watch me do that. And there you go. So I've got my drawstring, my bag. That didn't trim my threads. Okay, I've got my bag put together. And there's Mr. Tom's picture. So his present will go in the little bag with his picture. And then the hem of this t-shirt, see there's right there, the hem of the t-shirt, that's a casing. And we're going to put our drawstring through that casing. And voila, you have a drawstring bag with applique. So you have just done applique. I've showed you how to do applique. Now, I want to give you an assignment. I want you to make a bag, at least one, with this technique. And then post it in the remarks of this video, because I want to see, hi Michelle, I want to see your work. It's so much fun, and I think you'll like doing this. You can do it for Halloween, and then you could do it for Christmas. Put their picture on Christmas. And if you like this, we might experiment and do some other appliques and some other fun things like that. So there you have it. And just a recap. We've done it on a t-shirt bag. We've done it on some Christmas wrap with burlap behind it. And when I put this burlap on, see there's the stitching on the picture. And then when I put the burlap on, I just stitch next to the edge. And when I do it for Christmas, I'll use thread to match my project, but I use white thread so y'all can see what I'm doing. And then you can use Halloween fabric and make a little boo bag for your little boo. And see, I just used a straight stitch. You can use a zigzag stitch. That would be cute. And this is another bag that I made from a t-shirt. From the bottom of the t-shirt, this is the hem of the t-shirt, and we'll use that as the casing for the drawstring. Hi, Kim. And so that's it. It's super easy, super fun, and I want to see your projects. I want to see them. So I will ask you to like and comment and share this video. I bet you've got some buddies who sew maybe just a little bit and have kiddos or grandkiddos, and they'd like this project. So share this video. It's going to be on YouTube also, so you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then whenever I put one of these up there, if you like to watch on YouTube more, you can watch it there. Facebook and YouTube is Yaya Made Galveston. And then check out my Etsy shop, yayamadegalveston.etsy.com. As I told you last week, I have 4 new bags that I just put in my shop, and they're so cute. And one of them is not jeans material. It's made out of khaki pants and some red fabric. And oh, it's so cute. So check those out. And I will tell you, stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.